Hi Stampers, this is Marie Bennett, and today we're going to take a look at a tool called Texture Boutique. This is episode 6 of our series called Tools of the Trade. The purpose of the Texture Boutique is to emboss paper using embossing folders. When you get your Texture Boutique, the handle will not be screwed on to the machine. So it comes with a little Phillips screwdriver and a screw, and you're just going to screw it in place right here and then put the protective rubber cover over the hole. Then you're ready to go. That's all there is to assembling a Texture Boutique. Your Texture Boutique will also come with a little leaflet giving directions on how to use it. So if you can't remember how it works, just get out this sheet of directions, read it over. It's very simple. The other thing that comes with the basic machine here is this pair of plates, pressure plates, that you're going to put your embossing folder between. It's just like using a Big Shot. We'll be making a sandwich with our embossing folder and the paper we're trying to emboss. It also comes with, I call it a shim. It's just a very thin sheet of plastic that you can use to make your embossing material thicker so that you get a better impression. So let's get started embossing something. What I have here is an embossing folder. It's called Spring Flowers, and when you get your embossing folders, they'll be in this little envelope. Just pull the sticky at the back, throw that away, and then the embossing folder is very simple. It looks like this, and it opens like this. And when you closely examine an embossing folder, you can see that one side, this side, has an impression where the pattern is going to be made by this side. This side, the flowers are raised up and they fit into corresponding depressed areas on the other side. And when you squeeze the paper through the machine, it creates a pattern in your paper. The side of the folder that has the label written on it is the side of the paper that's going to have the pattern raised up. So if I put a single sheet of paper in here, like here, just put it in the folder, line it up the way you want it to be. Now this is just a single sheet of paper, it's not an entire card. So I know it's going to need to be a little thicker. When I look at my pressure plates, it gives directions here. It shows you how to emboss using a single sheet of cardstock right here, or a whole card right here. So we're doing this way. That means on top of this bottom plate we need to put this shim, and then we put our embossing folder on top, and then we put the top layer. In the embossing, in the Texture Boutique, there's a groove right here. I don't know if you can see, the material slides in that slot. So I'm just going to put my pressure plates in there, give the handle a crank, and when it starts to turn, then I can hold on to this handle on top to hold the machine steady. Just crank it through. Starts to come out the other side. Keep cranking. Alright, and it came all the way out the other side. And then I just take my embossing folder out, open it up, and there you can see the pattern that was created on the paper. Spring flowers. Alright, so I'll show you how it works with an entire card. when you're doing a folded card, so I'm going to fold on this score line that I have made on my cardstock. This is going to be the top of the card. So I put just the top of the card in the embossing folder. Close it, and then you can see the back of the card is on the outside. And I've got it in there a little too snug. There we go. The back of the card is on the outside, and it will not get an impression. Just the inside, or the top. So, since I have two thicknesses of paper with this folded card, I don't need this shim. I just put my embossing folder on the bottom pressure plate and then put the top on, stick it in the machine, give it a crank. As soon as it starts to move through, I hold on to the handle. And out comes my folder on the other side. Open it up. And there you can see the pattern that was imprinted in the actual card itself. And you can see that the back of the card is just flat. So that is how a texture boutique is used. To my knowledge, it cannot be used for cutting, die cutting like the Big Shot can, but it's a very simple little machine that people of all ages can learn to use. And that's it for episode 6 of Tools of the Trade. Thank you very much. Happy stamping. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about before I signed off with the Texture Boutique, and that is that how to store the folders and these little pressure plates that can get misplaced easily. So you want to make sure that when you want to emboss some paper, you know right where your tools are. What I do, I have gone to Staples and I purchased one of these plastic bins. I don't know the size of it. It's called a Really Useful Box. Clever. And it has a lid like this. It's kind of raised up so you can get things that are taller than the actual edge of the box can be stored in here. So I have all of my embossing folders in here. I just set it in there. This is not an embossing folder. This is called the, what's the name of this one? Top Note. It's a die. It's a metal die. But I didn't have another place to store it, and since you use it with the Big Shot, I decided to store it in this box. So these pressure plates can be stored in there too. So when I'm ready to use the pressure plates in the Texture Boutique or the Big Shot, all of my embossing folders are in the same place. Just a tip. Thanks for watching. Bye.